Greetings, DF overlords! Exclamation point. Is John secretly building a CRT TV museum? Keep up the excellent work! Exclamation point. I think my only issue with this question is the word secretly. You're doing it in plain sight, John.
Yeah, nothing secret about it, right? I mean, yeah, I do have a collection of these, and I have them
You've
all.
just bought a new one,
Uh,
or rather an older one.
I
But it is
obtained an
new
old
for you.
one,
Yes.
that somebody was going to get rid of, and it's a really nice 29-inch, or I guess tube size, whatever, Sony Trinitron that I wanted to breathe new life into.
Right.
I've just been dabbling with some consumer sets as well, because I have mostly pro monitors, and it's fun to look at consumer sets as well because they do have a distinctly different appearance compared to the pro monitors, because they have a much lower line count. So it's it's more in line with what the games might have looked like at the time, and it's it's a nice one. But yeah, I do kind of have a lot of CRTs set up throughout the house in various different setups for different purposes, from retro PC stuff to like a Mister setup with like one in Tate mode and a place to hook up arcade boards. And then, in here as well. And I sometimes rotate them around, and I love using CRTs. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
And I also look out for ones that look cool on camera, because I like to use this stuff in DF retro videos. And, sometimes that actually just being able to film it, you can make some cool shots. So
Have you got a Wager? That's the question.
no. So in recent times, outside of PC monitors, which generally or the pro ones, I'm not a big fan of flat CRTs anymore, because unless they're like the really high end pro or monitor grade tubes, flat tubes tend to have a lot of issues with geometry and conversions, which is extremely annoying.
That's interesting.
Right, because it requires a lot more work from the gun and everything to like get the beam precisely aimed on a flat tube versus a curved one. So
makes sense.
The circuitry to do that tends to be in those really expensive pro monitors and or PC monitors. So flat tubes are okay in that range, but also flat tubes become increasingly more difficult based on size. So like a larger TV screen, it's a flat tube. The larger you go, the worse. You're going to have many problems in the corners usually, because it's just really hard to deflect the beam up in a way that's like even and precise around there. So also most flat tubes tend to be outside of the first few round of them, especially in Europe. In Europe, they all went to 100 hertz, which sucks. 100 hertz processing, because that's designed to eliminate flicker, and it basically relies on like a internal image processing to double the image so that it gets rid of the flicker. But it also means that if you're playing like a 60 FPS game, you get a ghost image behind everything, like a double image effect, which is exactly
why you don't want to be using a CRT?
Exactly. You get a CRT to avoid this stuff. So having that reintroduced is terrible. And then in the US, everything went to like ED and HD TV, and those TVs stopped supporting proper 15 kilohertz input. So if you're inputting older 240p sources or interlace stuff, it has to deinterlace it, which again has a negative impact on image quality and also adds some latency to it. So I'm not a big fan of those types of screens.
Okay.
So
what would the CRT museum consist of? I'm assuming lots and lots of Sony Pro monitors.
I mean, there would be plenty of those, but also I like the JVC Pro monitors. I have a small one of those. The best consumer tube I've seen still, though, it's this B&O sitting right here, this BioVision
Really?
1. It really looks incredible. It looks better than that Trinitron I just picked up. It's just such a beautiful, sharp, clean, vibrant image that really reminds me of an arcade monitor, but like a really well-tuned one. And it's but each one has their own characteristics. So it would be a mix. It would be plenty of Sony ones, but I'd also have some other brands in there as well. And it's really just, if I could actually have a museum set up, it would indeed be something to like showcase what I would have to pick a tube based on each use case, 240p, 480i interlaced, 480p, HD, computer inputs like VGA, all that kind of stuff. Because each one you can has a different best pick, right? So you kind of got to strategically choose based on what kind of content you're trying to show if you want people to see it at its best.
Okay.
That's a bit ridiculous.
I didn't expect such a comprehensive answer. I'll be pretty
cool, though.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
Seems like the CRT TV museum just needs real estate to happen.
That is the current limitation, real estate.
Alex, you've got a CRT. I mean, I do as well, but no plans for a museum.
All right.
No, I don't have the space for that. That would be great. The only kind of CRT I would really want would be like a monochrome for just a very old IBM, or even just like Apple monochrome, one of the colored monochrome ones. That's the one thing I'd be missing, and I'd kind of love to have, because I think they have their own look too.
You should specify when you say colored monochrome, you mean that.
I meant. Yeah,
like amber phosphors or like the green
amber
phosphor
or
like
green. I don't
color.
mean singular color. Sorry, I should have said that better.
People think, wait, it's not black
John knows
and
what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know. What
Something like that, because that's something I haven't seen. I mean, other than at like a tech show, like with John when we went to Gamescom, seeing those things in the wild is actually super rare, and having that to check out games that were built for that style of color or lack thereof. Is awesome. And you can't really, I don't think things usually look the same when emulated in that aspect.
Yeah, it's all about the Hercules graphics, isn't it?
Hercules.
It is. Yeah.